I have to be in the spotlight, or I want
that you've trained in pole dancing.
This is what happens when you push this handle, then you do this, and he's just looking at me and give so and so audition, and I'll come back, I promise you.
Ladies, gentlemen, and others, welcome to another episode of The Real Deal with Aanam C. Today, I have a guest who is super multi-talented, has been known as the face of the Indian advertising industry, and has a whole bunch of amazing movies under your belt. Welcome to the pod, Yami Gautam.
Thank you, Aanam. I think you went a little overwhelming. I think it was with the introduction, no?
Actually, when I was doing my research, I realized you've done a whole bunch of ads before your career began. You want to tell us a little bit about the beginning? Because I feel like that was even new information to me, and I thought I was quite well versed on the Bollywood sphere.
No, yeah, I started my career with television actually, and that went for a very, very brief time because none of my shows worked. And at that time, you feel, the world, is it going to crumble? How are you going to survive? Because I was completely new to the city, to this industry, and all those things. But when I look back, of course, jo kahavat hai, jo hota hai, achhe ke liye hota hai. And that is when it began. I started giving auditions, and that is how, of course, you have to keep your kitchen running. Ad was in a completely a different world for me. I was not a professional model. I never was. I never walked on ramp or anything. But I think the auditions and any script which was something different or something would allow me to perform or act, I used to get that. Or I used to enjoy doing. And luckily, one of those auditions in one of the years happened to be for my first film, Vicky Dona, and that's how it all started.
Did you always know that this was the direction you wanted to go in, or was it just take it one step at a time?
After coming to Mumbai, I knew, and especially at a point where I was working in television, as I said, it lasted for a very, very brief time. But I thought this is not something which I can do. I can't do the same thing over and over again the next day. And I didn't know how to, like, if the character is crying, and I have so much respect for actors, and especially television actor. Nothing is easy, but it gives you respect. It gives you a very stable, income, a salary, and so all these things, and you're new to the city, and but I was like, no, I can't do this again because I'm not doing anything different. It's not allowing me to do anything. So what I used to do sometimes, I used to quickly have my lunch, like a brunch sort of a situation. So when there would be actual lunch time for everyone, I used to request my EP, and he was so kind that, can I quickly go and give so and so audition, and I'll come back, I promise you. I'll come back on time, you will not have to wait for me. I don't know how I used to manage it. Or can I quickly go? My dance class is just, next to. So I used to try and do something different, in that ad break, in that lunch break also. And then once that show went off air, I was like, no, I need a little break. I need to figure out my other avenues. I don't know how I'll do this, but let's see what happens.
Are there any particular low points you can think of where you said, forget this, I'm going back home?
Yeah. I wouldn't call it low time, but yeah, that's a time which comes, I think, I'm sure in almost everyone's life, not just actors, but anyone, where you feel that you're doing everything right, or you think you are talented, or you think all these things. Is it just in your head? Is the reality something else? And when you become fearless that, I think I gave it all, and I think that's it. You get life just once. You don't want to just, I wouldn't say wasted, but you just don't want to spend your entire life waiting for something, whereas you could do maybe something better in some other profession. Although, until that time, I always felt I didn't make the first move. I was asked to give a certain audition. I gave my first audition sitting in Chandigarh. And so I never dreamt of being an actor. So if destiny has gotten me here, it must be something. One of those, call it a filmy reason or call it philosophy or whatever, like कुछ तो खास करने आए होंगे आप इस शहर में. So there's no looking back, there is no plan B. But there's a time in life where you feel नहीं यार, मतलब कोई बात नहीं, कुछ और करेंगे. और कुछ ऐसा नहीं करना है that I'm cribbing and I'm doing it, and that's not work. That's not going to give me peace. And that was and at that moment, it's again sounds little, as if it's just a film story, but I got a film called Bala, and I think that's a film which is, I consider it a resurrection point in my career in 2019, and things completely changed.
वो बोलते हैं ना इतने दूर सिर्फ इतने दूर आने के लिए नहीं
बिल्कुल
that's
बिल्कुल.
where it is. But does it feel like home now? Does Bombay now, Mumbai now feel like home?
Yeah, it does. It does. But you have to have a very strong purpose here. Of course, now I'm married, and it's a bigger home now. It's a bigger family, and feels really good coming back home to someone you love, someone you enjoy sharing a meal. Otherwise, mostly it would be just, by the TV, watching something. Or the best was my family used to fly down from Chandigarh, my mom or my siblings, and that I used to really look forward to it. But yeah, Mumbai it is my Karam Bhumi, and respect to it. I think it embraces everyone, and it gives that one chance to everyone, I feel, regardless.
I get asked very often if I would ever move out of the city or out of the country, and I say, एक बार Bombay में रह लिया. I mean, I was born in Bombay. I've been brought up in Bombay. I've lived here all my life. I don't think I could live anywhere else ever.
Yeah, I can, but if it's home for now, yes, it's home for now. It's also one of my homes for now. I think I have 3 homes: Chandigarh, Himachal, and Mumbai.
Yeah, it's survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
For Bombay. You're someone who's obviously had some amazing roles under your belt. I feel like you've done some fantastic work. Yeah, we have a little cat walking around. We joke often and say that this is her house and we just live in it, my husband and I.
So it's not yours?
She's mine.
Oh, she's yours.
She's mine.
Oh yeah. I thought you just felt with someone coming.
No, she's my cat.
Okay.
But we joke and say this is her house. हम इसके घर में रहते हैं, ये हमारे घर में नहीं रहते हैं.
Correct. वो feeling आ जाती है एक time के बाद. They make you feel like that.
She's a shavni. So she'll come go as she pleases. What I was getting to was, you have some fantastic, of course, work in your filmography. I remember really loving your role in Kabil. I feel like one of the other things you do also is social media, which you do really well. In present day, I think you have about 17-18 million followers on the platform, at least as of last night when I was sitting in doing my research. And I noticed you have this segment called Yap with Yami. Can we talk about that really quickly? Because I feel like that is so catchy. And I think that you have to have a certain flair for social media, obviously. So is that something you're enjoying? How is your social media journey going for you?
It took me a long time, of course, to get used to it, because I never grew up with a desire, or not just desire, but I was never comfortable being center of attention, or I have to be in the spotlight, or I want to be in the spotlight. I was completely the opposite. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I want to do my job. I want to do it right, and then that's about it. So all my life, I think I was good at studies, but when it used to come to co-curricular activities, I was somewhere in that background, you would see, because I just didn't have that courage, or confidence more than courage. It was the confidence of public speaking and engaging with public. I remember the first time someone asked for an autograph or a photograph, I didn't give, because I was very uncomfortable. That no, I don't know. It must be some really silly reason, but knowing myself, it would be nahi, थोड़ा awkward feel हो रहा है, मुझे शर्म आ रही है. Why? So my dad, actually, my parents made me one day sit and make me understand that what does it mean, to have someone walk up to you and ask for a picture, and so sweetly that person did. So I didn't want to disrespect that person, but I was not very comfortable with the idea of someone coming for a picture, because that's me. I am very, very private, like literally a very, very private person. But you adapt. You don't, life surprises you with things with the most unimaginable things, I think. And as long as it's in a good space, I think it's good. And I'm part of a profession which is all about, engaging with people, engaging with public now, of course, with social media. And a part of me is still there, the original me. I still keep it, and I think I engage more with the characters than I have to engage with a lot of people around. But I think I've gotten definitely more comfortable, with social media. And at least on my timeline, be it on a certain platform, or of course we have 2-3 platforms, I like engaging with them. And I feel, however you like it, they also give you that kind of respect. They know I value feedback, and I genuinely do. And it's not about, I'll not just thank people who are complimenting me or saying nice things, I'll also take up something which I feel they have a critical observation. But you understand that intention is to tell you respectfully that what did work for them, and I thank them for that. I thank them for watching it and sharing it with me. And if it makes sense to me, yeah, why not? I'll keep in my mind. So for me, that's my relation with them. I think it's very, and of course you're a little more active when you're promoting a film and marketing a film. I'm not also someone who will just put out there everything that today I got hurt and today I'm feeling this, today I'm feeling that. Again, that's a very very personal choice. It's okay if you engage like that, but for me it's very spontaneous. Okay, today I feel like okay, I've just made this reel on the song for the cover song that has just released of my films, and I'm very excited to put it out because I've made it with so much. For me, it's a lot of effort because there was no one at all my staff members and my team had left, so I had to operate the camera, the music, and I'm going, let me keep some flowers, let me do this, and it's as filmy as it can be. But I'm very excited to put it out because I just felt like doing it. But I don't want to ever feel compelled that you have to put it out, or you have to be there all the time. I think that little mystery is always nice. So it's a hide and seek kind of a relation. My God, I give really long answers, right?
No, it's
I must
great
have
that you
answered
do.
like 3 questions of yours. I have this talent
But
also.
I love that. I love that. No, especially because what's catching my attention is the fact that you're saying you don't like the spotlight as much, and then here you are in a career that demands you to be in the spotlight. There must be always some kind of course, mystery and element. I love that you're making it sound light, but there has to be that internal struggle of, okay, where do I draw the line? Because that's something that if you're a private person, I'm married to a private person and I'm vlogging 24/7 with cameras around me. So our push and pull is very out there, but for you it must be internal where you're like, okay, I want to share this and I don't want to share this. How do you deal with that? And do you compartmentalize based on work, or do you just take it by gut, instance by instance?
I think it's both. But I think work, that's also important. As I said, we need to adapt with time also.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there are some of the biggest stars who are still not there on social media and they're doing great. There was a pre-social media era where we've seen the biggest stardom, I think, of certain actors. And and even as people, some of them, of course, I didn't know all of them. I mean, I didn't know them in person, but someone whom I keep hearing about from everyone, and I had the privilege of meeting her on 2 occasions. I happened to was Sri Devi ma'am. I've heard that she was a very private person. She was someone who was very reserved, and I saw that myself. But on screen, she was just magic. She was just, I mean, to do a film like a Sadma and then a Chalbaz and a Mr. India and all the films that all the work that she did. Can you tell that this person would be so reserved and likes a side of hers which is just for her family? No. So that means it's not really necessary. Everyone can. It's my favorite line of mine. Everyone can coexist, and you have to draw that line. You have to draw that line in the sense that, is it pushing me to a point that I'm actually getting, I'm thinking about it all the time, or this is something, as I said, I'm feeling compelled to do it. No, I don't want to do that. And I don't, maybe I would have done it 5 years back or 3 years back. But right now where I am, wherever I am, and there's still a very, very long way to go, I feel whatever I do, I should have my heart in it. I'll give you a very basic example. You might hate me for this, not hate, but be like, how weird. But the most popular look pictures that we have today, which everyone's putting out, I've also done that in very recent past until a year back. But I was like, I can't do this because for that to happen, you need a separate 45 minutes of yours, to click pictures. Is this the correct lighting? Is this, what do you want to put out? Has to be, it has to be then perfect, whatever you're putting out. And you're putting out not just your time, but you're putting out your money, you're putting out effort and everything. I'm like, I can't do this because there's an event or there's a social or public engagement or wherever I have to be. And I can't do this every day. I can't do this. So while I'm sure a lot of people, I might not get their clothes because now everybody wants professional pictures.
Yeah.
So, which is great. Everyone looks nice. But there used to be magazines. I think the charm also of print magazine is going down, day by day for some reason. But I used to always feel that I don't see that difference now between a magazine and then all these look pictures that we're doing, or something which is so candidly done. Like everything is so perfect, everything is so uh, manufactured, or orchestrated.
Orchestrated.
The whole yeah, that's a better word. Sorry, not manufactured, but orchestrated. That I'm like, no, yaar, I can't do this every day. The whole thing of pictures bhag rahe. Maybe I remember once we were at a reality show promoting one of my films. I had another co-actress of mine, and that reality show also had two actresses, and all I can hear is, मुझे picture लेना है. I have to take pictures also right now. We're getting late. Okay, ma'am, it's not allowed to take pictures here. Where do we go, ma'am? वहाँ पे छत पे जाके take. So they're rushing to each his own. Some people, I'm sure, they all enjoy it, they all like it, great. But I think I'm one of those few people who I just can't.
No, it's great that you're not taking that pressure on yourself, because
I can't
everything
take that.
you're saying is, to me, sounds like an influencer's life. Right? And I've been doing this for 12 years now. So I feel like everything you're saying is my way of life, literally. And if I was in your shoes, I would say, hey, let's just take the pressure off, because you have that opportunity to say, you know what, no, I'm going to do it my way. So whatever you're doing works for you.
We used to have pictures also. Even when I started my career, you have to, and we must, because that's the whole deal, right? You take your stylist goes, they get some clothes, and obviously they need pictures. But now with this whole thing of it has to be professionally captured.
Studio backdrop,
and lights. I'm like, when is it any point where I'm not working? So I think if it was still candid, I would have loved to. But and I think I'm sure hats off to my stylist, LiQWYD, and her team, Shumani and all that. They somehow manage clothes for me, because considering I'm not. But yeah, again, one of those days where, or an occasion where I would feel like I'll do it. But I can't do this on a daily basis.
I've loved Alia's work since her magazine days. I feel like I feel like she's a pro. I think that she dresses really fantastically, and I think that she's so good at what she does.
And the attitude, like, no, completely, I respect you, no problem. We'll work around it.
Yeah. I feel like we should talk about Chor Nikal Ke Bhaga, because that is the movie we're here for.
I was like, okay, where is Netflix? When I came in, can I have a Netflix mug? Can I have this here? I'm like, oh no, it's a home. I said, oh.
This is a more relaxed setting. So my goal, whenever I'm doing, when I'm doing things like this, is just to get to know the person. And I feel like a lot of times the audience hears so much about the movie or the show, the series, whatever. I feel like it's really nice to get to know the other aspects of the person's life, and we can then talk about, of course, Chor Nikal Ke Bhaga. So without Netflix flagging us off for spoilers, what can you tell us about it? Because I've seen the trailer, obviously, and the way it looks to me is a heist, but a heist gone wrong. I feel like it's very intriguing, because I'm like, wait, did they manage to do it or did they not manage? What can you tell us about it?
Again, it's a very tricky space. Yeah, when you're promoting a film, how do you describe your film in just 2 lines? Enough for them, for the audience to engage, and yet not giving it out. But because you're going to be asked this question 3,000 times in a day, how can you make it different and interesting? That's an art that I'm yet to actually crack, and I'm working on it. Works in progress. Talking about Chor Nikal Ke Bhaga. By the way, the moment I entered here, I was telling Aanam, and I was actually asking my team, listen, where is the Netflix thing? Where is the logo? Can I hold a Netflix cup? Like, this is a home. I was like, okay. The thing is, the deal here is, I'm anyway one of those people who barely, who have been told, and that's true also, that I'm almost one of those people who would come in the bottom when it comes to PR. I'm not a very PR kind of person. You won't hear me out there all the time or talk about my films or, oh, this film has done well, let's...
Because you're private, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, my point is, if something is good and it has reached the audience and they've loved it and I've understood, for how long do I hold on to it? I'll always hold on to it. But how do you plaster it all over around? I don't know. I don't know. As I said, I'm not still very comfortable with that. I do have a team, but then we also work together in a way which is closer to my personality, and Because a lot of times, even during casting, I've been told, a little more perception we need to work on, a little more. I'm like, what is perception? I mean, audience, I think they don't care about these things. I think it's more internal, and they're also right. They're also trying to think good only for me. So I value that. But they're like, no, it really matters, who's a bigger star, who's this, and all these things. I'm like, how do you, especially in today's time, as I said, before social media, before all this, you could actually tell, someone's, how popular they are and all those things. But today, you're as good as your last film. And then move on. People are going to forget.
And then people will look at Instagram numbers.
Yeah, so that's where you have to fill in those blanks. That's where you
Yeah.
have to stay relevant. But I'm like, no, I can't be working all the time. It's not because I don't want to work. Because what is it? Maybe beyond a point or beyond the work that I do, I don't want to be out there. Yeah, some aspect of me which I'm anyway working on in terms of farming and all that, I will talk about it. I'll get it out. But I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to create perceptions. I don't know how to work on all those things. And like I mentioned it also somewhere, your work is your best PR. I think I'll try and follow it. Hence, I think the most important thing is when your film is coming out, people should just be aware that it's coming out.
Yeah.
Them liking or not liking, it's not in our hands. I mean, I can't tell someone to like or some work of mine, but you should be aware. Hence the question that where is the logo. So talking about Chor Nikal Ke Bhaga, of course it's a hijack or a heist film. We don't know. And those of you who want to know more, please watch the trailer. That's the best way I can put it out there. I think a well-cut trailer also is very, very important. Gives the audience a fair idea. This is a genre I'm interested in. This is something I don't want to watch. But I can guarantee you one thing, that it's your popcorn entertainer. It's one of those films where it's your, your commercial entertainer films. This is like my version of commercial entertainer films, my understanding of it, where you sit with your friends, your family, and it's like, how community viewing or how you used to watch films साथ में मिलके, अंधेरा है, popcorn है हाथ में, समोसे, कुछ खाने पीने की चीजें, is that kind of film. I think you'll enjoy it. I think, and it doesn't have any social message. I hope not. There is no takeaway that because it's got to do with heist and hijacking. So please no takeaways from here. But I think it's a film which people will enjoy. I have a feeling.
Do you want to tell us about your character a little bit, about what exactly you're doing in the middle of this heist and hijack?
I play Neha Grover. Neha is an air hostess, and who happened to fall in love with this boy, Ankit Sethi, played by Sunny Kaushal. And there's Sharat Kelkar also in the film, and some more ancillary cast. And how we're stuck basically in this situation, like for some reason we got to do what we have to do. And what happens? Does it go wrong on a plane? And how does it come through? Again, very poor at describing, but the film is not going to be like this, like the way I've described my film. But it was interesting playing air hostess, and I felt so good that every time after that when I took a flight, I was like, I already know all these photos. I know, can I show you how to do this? Can I show you how to open the door? I know how to do this. And to the extent I think I almost scared one of my co-actors, because we were on an ATR plane in Himachal shooting for Chor. And ATRs, of course, are very small aircrafts, and the valleys, anyway, it's a very challenging valley. It's Himachal. Flights don't take off every day from Kullu. But me and my mom, we were so excited because we getting to see Himachal from, literally bird's eye view, and we were so excited. And the air hostess, and there was somebody who was not very comfortable with ATR planes. And I'm talking about Sharat. And he's this very tall and strong guy and all that. And suddenly I see him not in that easy expression, and I'm like, what happened? He's like, no, I'm not very, very comfortable right now. He mentioned about claustrophobia and all that. I said, okay, sorry. And in comes the air hostess, and she's explaining, like, I'll tell you, this is what happens, and you push this handle and you do this. And he's just looking at me that you are almost making it sound that it is going to happen and you are going to push the door. I said, I'm not going to do, I'm just excited to. It's almost like, with your teacher, I know the answer. Correct, no? There's that kind of thing. It's like, no, please. So nothing happened. It was a very smooth flight, but yeah, I was quite excited about that part.
That's so sweet and endearing. Well, if you guys do want to watch the film, and I've seen the trailer, so I would recommend that you do. You want to tell us when it's coming out on Netflix?
Yes, it's coming out on 24th March, streaming on Netflix again, and Chor Nikal Ke Bhaga.
Thank you so much for coming on the pod. I feel like I want to end this episode with playing this little game that I play with everyone. It's called Associate This. I'm going to say a word and I just want to see what you respond to it with. Whatever is the first word that comes to your mind. Okay, we're going to do this. Donor. I had to start with that. You also started with that.
Can't help but say, yeah, Vicky. Vicky.
Dance.
Chimmy. Acha.
Wait, have I read correctly that you've trained in pole dancing? I was kind of hoping you would say pole.
Oh, I did take a couple of classes and then the teacher lives really far, so I think I missed about 4 or 5 of these classes, and then I think because of my schedule and all I left. But yeah, I started like very diligently.
Okay, so
like,
I read correctly.
Yeah, you read correctly. Oh, I completely forgot.
I was like, she'll say pole and then you go into Jimmy. Mumbai.
Aanam C.
I like that. Chor
Nikal Ke Bhaga, dil mein.
Chandigarh.
Home. Always.
Netflix.
Necessity.
I thought you'd say logo.
Logo. Acha, logo. But it's necessity also. It's they're launching and streaming our film, so very important.
ये प्यार ना होगा कब.
बिल्कुल नहीं और ये प्यार हमेशा ही audience. I think I'll connect it with audience.
Yeah, that's sweet. Thank you for being such a sport.
I think I butchered your game.
No, you didn't. It was very cute. Don't worry. My favorite response was dance. I'm waiting for pole.
And
you're singing a song.
And I'm dancing. I give you a performance also. But anyways.
I love that. Thank you for coming on the pod. All the best for the film. I'm going to be watching it on the 24th of March on Netflix. You heard that. Not first here, but you heard that here. So make sure you go watch it. Thank you for coming, Yami.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.